anyone can sue in America, so I guess, but I think we could get it dismissed pretty quickly because it's like, I just have nothing to hide.
Okay, so Mark Rober recently has found himself in a bit of a sticky situation. But before we dive into said situation, there's a couple of things. Content's been very dry at the moment, so sorry about that. And as well, I've been pretty sick, so, you know, bear with me, please. So Mark Rober recently uploaded a video titled, "Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car?" where, you know, you guessed it, he tries to fool self-driving cars.
40 miles an hour towards a fake Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner painted wall. Please stop. Please stop. Holy. And I'm doing this to see if Tesla's autopilot can be tricked, because it famously only relies on simple cameras to navigate the world, as opposed to much more expensive tech. In fact, we're out here today to run a bunch of tests in extreme conditions to see how those simple cameras on the Tesla stack up against other fancy cars that use more advanced technology.
So this video that seems pretty harmless has caused quite a bit of controversy online. Posts going at Mark Rober for this video have been garnering tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of likes, attacking him for this video. And in today's video I'm going to show you the timeline of events of what's happened here, reading the tweets, and then letting you make your own mind up about the situation. Now this is the thread that went viral. This is Mark Rober. He spent years building one of the strongest reputations in social media, loved by tens of millions of followers. Yesterday he obliterated it all with one 18-minute video. It's a story of greed, deception, and cowardice. Here's the story of what happened. Mark is a long-time YouTuber who spent years acquiring over 65 million subscribers. He filmed widely entertaining videos, testing the limits of physics and tech. He was Mr. Beast before there was a Mr. Beast. Yesterday, he let money, politics, and greed get in the way of all of that. Threads that are phrased like this always really annoy me, right? You see them a lot with the YouTube self-guru ones, you see it a lot with the story time ones. Usually they're a massive red flag on Twitter, but you know, that's why. Let's see what they say. Mark put out a video titled, "Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car?" The concept of the video is simple. Drive a Tesla in full self-driving mode on a road where there is a wall painted like a road. See if the Tesla cameras see the wall and cause the car to stop. Harmless enough, right? Wrong. The video is filled with deception, lies, and illegal, undisclosed advertising. In the video, the Tesla does not detect the wall and goes right through it. On top of that, there is a kid mannequin that gets absolutely nailed, but there's a few things Mark doesn't tell you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about the kid mannequin getting absolutely obliterated, right? But I do want to hear about the rest of the very, very serious accusations that are being made against Mark Rober here. First of all, he lied about full self-driving. He didn't even use FSD. He used autopilot, which even Tesla admits is older, not strong technology. But even worse, he deactivates it right before he hits the wall in a sneaky maneuver. He moves the wheel to deactivate autopilot. But why would he so purposely slander and attack Tesla like this? Oh yeah, he's working with a LiDAR company which he illegally never discloses. In fact, on its first trading day since the video was posted, the LiDAR company's stock is up over 27%, over $50 million. Now this specific bit of the thread did actually get community noted. The description does mention this in its entirety. Thanks to Luminar for allowing us to test their LiDAR equipped car. They provided the vehicle for testing purposes, but no compensation was given, and this is not a paid promotion. Not a lot, but something. I do think this is a pretty valid thing to point out, right? This thread isn't being completely transparent with what they're saying, just like, you know, they're calling out Mark Rober for not being transparent and, you know, covering things up. It would be helpful for them to be as transparent as possible, because not necessarily people aren't going to go to check the video to actually make sure that everything that's being said in this thread is factual. On top of that, he lies about other sponsors. He regularly shows Google Pixel phones. In the video itself, he shows you a Pixel filming the video. Look close though, in the reflection of the Tesla, he's actually filming with an iPhone and edited the shot to look like a Pixel. 65 million subscribers, 500,000 X followers, a pristine reputation, all of that destroyed for a payday. If you're a creator, this is the ultimate lesson in ethics and responsibility. It takes years to build a reputation and moments to destroy it forever. Now this thread absolutely blew up. At the time of recording this, it just has over 100,000 likes, which is genuinely insane for something like this. The post has gone viral, and there's now loads of posts saying very similar stuff that are getting tens of thousands of likes. Someone just pointed out to me that you can just see the error messages on the screen. He doesn't even try to hide it. At 0007, Mark says, "Here we go," and presses the stalk engage AP. Immediately some sort of error message appears. You can also audibly hear the error chime. A couple of seconds later, another message appears and AP disengages. If you genuinely believe that Mark did not press the pedal, I have a bridge to sell you. Now attached were these 4 screenshots taken from the video to try and prove their point and show what they're saying. But before I go over some more criticism that Mark's been receiving and a few more tweets, Mark did actually put out a response on Twitter. Here's the raw footage of my Tesla going through the wall. Not sure why it disengages 17 frames before hitting the wall, but my feet weren't touching the brake or gas.
Here we go. Here we go. Holy shoot!
And the takeaway from that video, aside from the fact that Mark Rober's laugh sounds like a car engine trying to start up, is you know, he got quite a bit of backlash. A lot of people are saying that Mark Rober should be sued by Tesla, that Mark Rober's done this because it's a politically charged statement because he doesn't like Elon Musk or the big orange man that he supports. Like, genuinely, the internet is exploding over this. I would also like to point out that in the video he uploaded to Twitter, he turned the wheel to disengage AP. You know what really needs to happen with this Mark Rober fiasco? Tesla needs to pull the data from the car itself and show us exactly what happened. How many attempts, speeds, autopilot engagement, disengagement, the whole thing. I know what the data will show, that this was a huge case of fraud, but I doubt Mark wants us to see all that. At Elon Musk, at Tesla, should sue the pants off this guy. Sad, I had a ton of respect for Mark before this stunt. Undeniable proof. Mark Rober edited an iPhone to look like a pixel, but missed a frame. If he would edit something this small, it's not hard to imagine what else was carefully constructed. Not saying FSD would see the wall, but Mark is saying it is a fact when we don't know. Now attached is the video of the proof, it's 21 seconds, no audio, seemed kind of boring, so I thought I'd give a little bit of a voiceover, right? Keep you all entertained so you don't get bored, but this is what was attached to the tweet to try and prove what they're saying, that Mark Rober actually edited this phone. Like, genuinely, this situation has gotten absolutely huge. I don't know how I didn't even see this on Twitter until recently. After running the road scenario through a monocular depth estimation model that probably has a much less accuracy than the real FSD system would have. To all the people watching, by the way, don't worry if you're not getting all these technical words or you have no idea what people are trying to say. All you need to know for this video in particular is that, you know, people are very angry at Mark Rober. They're saying that Mark Rober's a liar and he's faked things, and they're trying to prove that. Mark Rober posted a video ripping Tesla's FSD/autopilot technology. The problem? FSD was never engaged, and nothing was on when he crashed into the wall. The whole video was designed to bash Tesla and promote Luminar, a LiDAR company. Now, after all the backlash, Mark Rober actually spoke to Philip DeFranco in a 14-minute segment. Now, I'm not going to go through all the 14-minute segment because it's not just a conversation, but I'd highly recommend that you go and check out Philip DeFranco's segment on all of this.
As well, autopilot has tools like traffic-aware cruise control and auto steer. Many Teslas now have a newer tech called full self-driving, or FSD, which has all those tools and many more, which is why you had outlets like Forbes saying, frankly, few are interested in tests on the old autopilot, so that makes Rober's tests fairly meaningless, even if it is the case that the newest FSD system would have made the same errors. We unfortunately don't know. Also, in addition to that, in the description of the video, Mark says that while there was no compensation given and the video is not a paid promotion, Luminar did provide the vehicle so they could test the LiDAR technology. And with that, you had Forbes adding, while Rober may not have known about the software versions available for his car, the crew at Luminar, the LiDAR company which assisted with the tests, provided the LiDAR car and system, and has done these tests before, would surely have been aware of them and should have informed Rober.
Saying that I was manually just drove it through because 17 frames, by the way, is like less than a half of a second before it hits the wall. Again, I don't know why it would disengage. I was not pulling on the steering wheel. And by the way, even if I did disengage it, it's less than a half a second before you go off. The outcome would not be different. My guess is maybe the sensors, the ultrasonic sensors, which I think are on the bumper, they probably just disengage if they sense that something big is there and it just stops being in the self-driving mode or autopilot, whatever you want to call it. So that's all I'm saying is, like, some people clipped right after and said, look, it's not on autopilot. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just here. Like, I don't have a horse in this race either, by the way.
This is a very interesting interview that Philip DeFranco had with Mark Rober. Of course, Mark Rober is denying the accusations made against him, and you can definitely tell this is affecting him. Just look at him. He doesn't look human. I think one of the most interesting parts of this whole interview is when Philip DeFranco brings up the fact of people trying to say that, you know, Mark Rober should be sued for this.
Two videos, I've seen some folks like, I think it was Meet Kevin, saying that there's a possibility of a lawsuit. Do you have any concerns over that based off of the video or anything like that?
No, because it's like, I mean, anyone can sue in America, so I guess, but I think we could get it dismissed pretty quickly because it's like, I just have nothing to hide and I have no ulterior motive here. No one's paying me. I have no stock. I have no shorting. I'm planning on getting another Tesla in, like, I don't even have politically, apparently it's a political issue. Like, I don't even have a horse in this race. I just thought it was an interesting finding.
But I highly recommend, if you do want full context to everything that happened in that interview, that you go and watch the Philip DeFranco segment. But nobody watch it. What's your thoughts on this whole Mark Rober fiasco? Please feel free to comment down below. Once you're down there, you might as well smash the subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a future upload. Again, sorry for the lack of uploads this week. I've been very, very sick, as you can probably tell throughout this video. I don't sound normal. And as well, the content's been pretty dry. Not been very much topics, so, you know, sorry about that. But I have been your host, Samuel, and I'll catch you in the next YouTube video.